Doctor Who Classic Series action figure review. In today's review, I am looking at the latest classic exclusive set from Underground Toys and Forbidden Planet, which is the Revelation of the Daleks collector's set. Now, before I begin the review, just one thing I need to mention. It won't concern most of you, but a few of you. I keep getting messages from people saying, "Oh, hello, I'm so-and-so off Roblox or Roblox." And I was sort of like, well, I've never heard of this thing. How do you know me off of this thing? I've never heard of it. And apparently there's someone on there pretending to be me. Apparently his name is Clone Wars 12345. I have no idea who this person is. It definitely isn't me, because I'd never even heard of this website before. I had a little look. Is it some sort of like Lego game website or something? Had a little look, tried to get in contact with the person, but the only way I could see that you had to do it was to actually join the website, which I shall not be doing. So I am not Clone Wars 12345. If you do know Clone Wars 12345 on that website, please send him a message telling him stop being an idiot and pretending to be me. Or block him. Block him if you can. I don't know how the site works, but if you can block him, or just send him a message, send him to stop being stupid. So that's that out of the way. Now let's get on with the review. I thought I'd better mention that, just for those who are talking to this person assuming it was me. It's the traditional setup from the previous Davros set, the Resurrection one, your Doctor, your Davros, and your two Daleks. And of course, this is the pattern that we'll be following in the Genesis and Destiny sets coming out later on. I'll begin with the Doctor. There's not an awful lot to say with this set, to be honest. The Doctor is a Wave 1 6th Doctor, as previously released. And of course, the major difference is he is wearing his mourning cloak for Necros. And the cloak is just a separate piece of PVC that just hangs over Colin's shoulders, as you can see, like that. And it's three different shades of blue, in fact, sort of a baby blue, a darker blue, and then a slightly darker baby blue. And then you've got all the gold detailings here around the rim. As you can see, the little question marks that make the hooks to button the cloak up. And as I said, it just clips on like that. A lot of people have had there was a bit of debate about this because of the way the cloak hangs. It does look like he is doing a bit of a Batman or a Superman impression there, as the way it sort of flows outwards. I've seen people actually boil the cape and then reshape it so it's more tight here. I'm not going to mess around with that sort of thing, because there's a lot of faff. Because of the thickness of the PVC, which is something that couldn't really be helped in the way that they're doing it, it does make him look like he has really massive shoulders. So he does look a bit odd. But other than that, it was a nice little variant. Not necessarily one that I'll use in a story or anything, but it looks nice on the shelf to have a different variation of Colin. One thing I will say about this figure is the paint apps on the actual 6th Doctor itself are excellent. I mean, I've obviously had a few now from the Wave 1 release and from the Stealth Cyberman release last year. The paint apps on this one is really, really good, so if you don't have a 6th Doctor from Wave 1, you may want to track down this set to get him in that, and of course you get the extra cloak. So the 6th Doctor is a nice figure. So this is the second classic Davros we've had released. The first one that came out in February. Again, Terry Malloy. And you're probably thinking, for the most part, it's the same figure. It is the same figure, but they have made some minor changes to the paint applications and to, well, sort of aspects of the design. For instance, the microphone on the figure is now on the opposite side. If I just bring in... just knocked over Colin. If I just bring in the Resurrection Davros, as you can see, it's on a different side of the head, and now it is just completely silver. The control panels are also different. As you can see now, there's white bits on top of the green switches, and some of the other buttons are different colours. The little hatch thing where he gets out the injector, that is now a different colour. That was just originally silver. I'm not sure if this is how it is in Revelation of the Daleks. I'm not really an expert on the differences of Davros's chair, but I shall assume that it is the case. Also, the bit of trim round here, which was originally painted black, and this one is now white. Again, I've no idea if that's correct or not. I assume so. And the main difference really with this Davros is his hand. As you can see, his hand is now a stump wrapped in tissue and soaked in his green Khaled blood. The sculpt on that is quite nice. You can see he's got the little knot and the threads of the tissue or the bandage hanging off the end. So that, I'm glad they kind of did that, because otherwise it really would have been a very close reproduction of Resurrection Davros. But that doesn't mean to say that when you buy this set, you're going to have to display him with his stumpy hand, because he does come with his normal hand. So you can relive the scene where Bostock, I think it's Bostock, shoots Davros's hand off. But it just unplugs like that. Actually, when it's in the packaging, it is packaged with his normal hand on. So, and then you can just plug the other hand in like so, and then you have a more normal looking Davros. And just like the Resurrection Davros, the removable panel is still on the figure, as you can see, and it is still activated by pressing the hemisphere on the left. Like that, so it still comes off in the same way. It's still the same sculpt, because of course it's just reusing the same sculpt of the Resurrection Davros. So really there's not anything that different with Davros, other than his removable hand, which is a nice touch, and the new paint apps on his console, and the microphone being on the other side of his head. So, that's it for Davros and the Doctor. Now, I'll very quickly show you the two Daleks that came with this set. You have the white and gold Necros Imperial Dalek, and your traditional grey and black Renegade Dalek. Now, I've never really been fond of these, but the figure is actually really nice. It's not the ivory colour of the Remembrance Daleks, it is a proper white, and the gold is a lot darker, a bit bronzy in fact, compared to the gold used on the Remembrance Imperial Daleks. So again, this one is just the same old Dalek sculpt that's been used repeatedly. Just white and gold, bit of mesh, that's been painted gold as well. The dome lights are the new dome lights that they've just started using, with the little ridges, which is really nice. And I think the eye stalk's new. It's different from the Resurrection Daleks. And yeah, that's really it for that one. Obviously the same old articulation, plungers, head, same with Davros, all the same articulation as the previous set. And then of course you've got the dark grey Dalek, the Renegade. Again, same sculpt. Overall, I mean, there's not really much to say about the Daleks that haven't been said with previous releases, because they're just repaints. But they're nice all the same, and I do like the dark colouring of this one compared to some of the recent ones, which were quite light. And I was surprised that I was going to like this one as much as I do. I think it's quite a nice one to use. So, that is really it for this set. Not really much to say, because a lot of the figures have been released in some variation before. Obviously, Colin has been seen before, the cape's just a new addition. Davros is, like I said, pretty much the same as the Resurrection set, apart from those notable differences. And then, of course, you have the 2 repainted Daleks. So, if you don't have a Colin, and you don't have a Terry Malloy Davros, you may want to pick this set up, because obviously you get both, and you can use this Terry Malloy Davros with or without the stumpy hand. And of course, if you don't have any white and gold Imperial Daleks, you could always go with this set to get a Necros version. And of course, these ones are quite similar to the Genesis Dalek, so I mean, you could always use it with that. So, overall, I do like this set more than I thought I was going to. At first, when I saw it, it was a sort of a, not really anything too exciting compared to when the Resurrection set came out and it was the first Davros. Thank you for watching this review, guys. The next review will be the Genesis of the Daleks box set with the duffel coat 4th Doctor, with a Khalid mutant to strangle him with, the Michael Wisher Davros, and 2 Genesis Daleks. And that should be up within the next few weeks, depending on if the set's released on time. And then, of course, in May, it will be the Destiny of the Daleks set, which has the season 16, 17 Tom Baker with the Goodison Davros and 2 Grey Daleks as well. So, thanks for watching this review, guys, and I shall see you in the next review.